If you hear the word battery, you probably think of mobile phones, AAAs, AA's, pink Duracell bunnies, and those tiny silver discs that go in your watch. But there are far bigger, more powerful machines that need your attention.
Like storage batteries.
Exactly. Well, technically every battery is a storage battery because they store electricity. But storage batteries are big and they pair with solar panels.
And today we're going to be talking all about them. We're going to talk about how they work, their main benefits, and whether you should actually get one.
And if you're thinking of switching to solar, you've probably got an installer or two telling you to get a battery as well.
According to solar certification body Flexi-Orb, 73% of solar homes in the country have a battery, so they're clearly already a popular choice. We're going to ask, are they worth it?
We certainly are. I'm Charlie.
I'm Josh.
Let's dig in.
Yeah.
Didn't like the Right, let's start with the very basics. Josh, what is a storage battery?
A storage battery is a big device that goes in your home. It's about 1 meter tall, 60 centimeters wide, and 30 centimeters deep. It stores electricity that you generate from your solar panels.
Which is why it's also called a solar battery.
Exactly.
So can you tell us how solar battery or storage battery charging and discharging works?
Let's say you have solar panels on your roof. It's the middle of the day, they're generating electricity. All of that electricity will go to whatever devices and appliances are switched on first.
Like a heat pump or an EV charger?
Yes, if you're in a particularly green household, they might be powering your EV or heat pump. However, if there's too much electricity produced for the items that you have switched on at that moment, it'll flow into your battery.
So what happens once it's in the battery?
It stays there until you need it. Without a battery, when your solar panels stop producing electricity after the sun goes down, you'll have to rely on the grid to import your electricity. And that's quite a problem because in the early evening, when people are getting home from work and school, they use a lot of electricity on items like TVs and ovens.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with that part of the day. So what about households that do have a battery?
If you do have a battery, it will kick on at this point because it will have filled up with electricity throughout the day, and it'll come on when the sun goes down and provide you with all of that sweet power.
That sounds fantastic. So does that mean you're getting more value out of your solar panels if you have a battery?
It does. The percentage of solar electricity that you use in your home is referred to as self-consumption, and the higher your self-consumption, the better. The average household will use about 50% of the electricity that their solar panels produce, but with a battery, this goes up to 80%.
Wow, that's quite a big jump.
It's a huge jump.
So does that mean then that a system with a battery is also cutting down more of their carbon footprint?
Yes, it absolutely does.
If you're still here, now is a really fantastic time to hit the like button. Right, so we've been through the basics of how a storage battery works and a storage battery in its most simple scenario. It fills up with solar generated electricity throughout the day, you use it at night time, it empties out, fills up again the next day, and so on. But what about if you combine it with a smart solar export tariff?
This is where things start to get a little bit more interesting.
And a little bit more complicated.
Yes.
So Josh, why don't you start by telling us what a solar export tariff is?
So, solar panels produce excess electricity in the UK, especially in the summer months. And when the battery is full, all of that excess electricity will automatically be sent to the grid. Fortunately, you can get paid for this with a solar export tariff. Some pay the same flat rate all day long, and some will pay a higher rate at some points and a lower rate at others during the day.
So does this mean you can just choose whichever solar export tariff you want?
You can choose between a whole range of solar export tariffs. It doesn't necessarily have to be the one provided by your supplier. However, customers usually do get the best option.
That sounds wonderful.
Yes, export income has become a massive benefit of having solar panels in the UK.
Okay, so we've covered normal solar export tariffs. Now let's talk about smart solar export tariffs. What makes them cleverer than the normal ones? And how does this relate to batteries?
A smart export tariff will pay you different rates depending on when during the day you export your electricity to the grid, with a higher rate during peak times, which is usually 4 till 7 p.m. A smart export tariff will also control your battery, so that means that it will control when you charge and discharge, so you won't have to lift a finger. So your battery will fill up with electricity either from the grid or from solar panels during off-peak times, and then discharge it all to the grid during peak times to maximise your profits.
Very clever. So it basically treats your battery as a big buying and selling machine.
Yes, exactly. It buys low and sells high.
Okay, and this all happens automatically then? The homeowner doesn't need to do anything?
Nothing at all. With a smart export tariff like Intelligent Octopus Flux, it's entirely automated.
And this is probably a silly question, but if someone had solar panels without a battery, could they sign up for one of these smart solar export tariffs?
Unfortunately not. Without a battery, you can't sign up for a smart export tariff, which means you'll just get paid the same flat rate all day and won't be able to benefit from getting paid a peak rate.
So let's talk money. How much is all this worth to a homeowner?
So the average homeowner with a solar and battery system on a smart export tariff will make £350 per year on top of the savings they're already making with their system.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. That is assuming that the household uses 3,500 kilowatt hours per year, has a 4.4 kilowatt peak system, and has a 5.2 kilowatt hour battery.
What a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
So in terms of this export income, what is the difference between a house with a battery and without a battery?
A household with a battery will make £150 more per year, approximately.
Right, so we've talked about solar electricity storage and all the money that can save you on your energy bills. We've talked about solar export income. Are there any other benefits to having a solar panel system with a battery?
Yes, households with a storage battery can also take part in the Demand Flexibility Service, or DFS.
Like the sofa company?
Exactly.
Interesting, tell us more.
So, as you know, the demand for electricity has been growing in the UK and will continue to grow over the next several decades.
Why is it growing?
So, as you know, electricity demand in the UK is rising rapidly and will continue to do so for the next several decades. This is because we are turning to more electrified devices like electric cars, heat pumps, and air conditioning.
Especially with the summers getting hotter.
Yes, absolutely. This is going to put the UK electricity grid under more and more strain.
Oh dear.
Yes, it's pretty bad. And we're already dealing with spikes in demand, especially when people get home in the evenings.
And can't we just generate more electricity?
Yes, we can. Unfortunately, it's going to take a very long time to build all the solar farms, wind farms, and nuclear power plants that we need.
Okay, this is starting to sound like a big problem.
It is a big problem. One way we can tackle this problem is by shifting demand. Instead of having these big peaks around 4 to 7 p.m. every day, you can try to incentivize people to shift their demand away from the peaks to other times.
That sounds very smart.
It is very smart. So the Demand Flexibility Service that we mentioned earlier, that is a national grid scheme set up and used by most of the big energy suppliers. What they do is they set up events throughout the year, usually at 4 to 7 p.m. on certain days, and they pay you for every kilowatt hour of electricity that you don't use compared to your normal usage.
Okay, so that's an important point, that it's compared to your normal usage.
Exactly.
And how does this relate to batteries?
So in these saving sessions, you get paid to export as long as it's more than you usually export. With a battery, this is much easier. You can save up all the electricity that you generate during the day and then export it to the grid during these saving sessions. However, if you just have solar panels, you can still do some exporting, but not much between 4 and 7 p.m, and you won't be able to control when it happens.
Okay, so let's talk money again. How much is all of this worth to a homeowner?
The rate in 2023 was about £3 per kilowatt hour.
So we've talked a lot about the benefits that a solar battery can provide, but famously, solar batteries don't tend to last as long as solar panels. So a really decent set of monocrystalline solar panels might come with a 25 or 30-year warranty, and they could last upwards of 40 years. Whereas a battery, after about 10 or 12 years, will probably start to decline, it will lose capacity and some of its effectiveness.
Sadly, yes.
So someone might be thinking, is it worth getting a battery if it's only going to last 10 or 12 years?
That seems like a reasonable concern.
So Josh, big question, is there a point in getting a battery given its typical lifespan?
Absolutely, yes, there is. Someone who buys a solar and battery system up front will break even in about 8 years. That's according to 32 different solar and battery designs that we've made for households across England and Wales. That 8-year break-even point is 4 years before a battery starts to struggle.
Okay, so 8 years isn't bad, but maybe someone is thinking that 4 years isn't that long before their battery needs replacing. What about if someone got SunSafe Plus, the UK's first solar subscription?
Yes, we've thought about this. If you get SunSafe Plus, we will provide a free replacement battery when you need it, which is pretty great.
It's very good.
It will stop you having to go to a supplier or find a supplier and then pay for a new battery.
Hopefully you're feeling a little more clued up on the basics of how storage batteries work and whether they're worth getting.
They will allow you to get so much more out of your solar panel system, to sign up for smart export tariffs, which can net you hundreds of pounds more in savings per year, and to sign up for the demand flexibility service.
which is going to become a lot bigger in future.
It definitely will do.
And on top of all these benefits, you're going to be adding an asset to your property which is very likely to increase its value.
That's right, there are loads of studies out there that show that solar panels will boost your property's value. In particular, a study from Rightmove in 2023, which shows that you can add 3% to your home's value just by getting solar panels on your roof. If you add a battery to that, the boost will likely be even greater.
And if you don't fancy paying the high upfront cost of a solar and battery system, you should consider SunSave Plus, which is the UK's first solar subscription. It means you can switch to solar at no upfront costs and instead pay a fixed monthly fee for 20 years for a best-in-class solar and battery system.
Your system will also be protected by the SunSave guarantee. We've done a separate video about that. You can find that on our channel.
And to sign up for SunSave Plus or to learn more about storage batteries or solar in general, head to our website sunsave.energy.
PS, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more solar energy content and more info about SunSave Plus.
And let us know below what other videos you want to see from us. Bye!